world as we knew it, when it comes to high streets and retail, is dead. It's gone. It's time for us to move on. It's time for us to understand what comes next. I think that what we are experiencing at the moment is an industrial revolution. Not akin to industrial revolution, not like an industrial revolution. This is an industrial revolution. And it is largely led by new technology, both digital and artificial intelligence automation. And our high streets are at the front line of this change. As hubs for commerce and community, they are on the front line. And I'm seeing this change every day. And boy, is it challenging. So hands up for all of you out there who know who this is. One or two, okay, a few people. And I noticed that mainly those that have put their hands up are relatively young people. And that does not surprise me at all. This is James Charles. James Charles is a DIY makeup artist who has his own YouTube channel. He is a social media influencer. A year and a half ago, I would have said, social media influencer, not a real job. Son, James, get yourself a real job, get yourself a real profession. Social media influencer, as if. James Charles has about 14 million YouTube subscribers. He calls his community his sisters. He actually announced that he was going to be coming to Birmingham City Centre in January this year to open up a makeup store. Only be there for about 20 minutes, open up the store, and then he's gone again, off around the world travelling. I think Birmingham Bullring sold about about 200 tickets to kids. That's how many people they're expecting to come in. They thought that would be ample. 8,000 kids turned up to watch him. He was only there for 20 minutes. He brought the whole of Birmingham City Centre to an absolute standstill because of congestion. The roads were clogged. I've spoken to the general manager of Birmingham Bullring. They actually monitor their CO2 levels. There is a spike right at the very moment James Charles appears and all the kids start screaming. It's crazy. I have no idea what this is. But clearly, the world of retail has changed. The only reason why I knew about this story is because James O'Brien on LBC heard about this, and he was talking about James Charles. It was like, who on earth is James Charles? What's going on in Birmingham? Someone explained to me. James Charles was actually in a taxi on his way back to the airport, listening to LBC, and so called him himself. Gave us all the information. At 19 years old, James Charles is a millionaire with a global fan base, because of his social media influencer. Social media influencer is a proper profession, and I've obviously chosen the wrong career. So James, I apologize. I got it wrong, you got it right. It's amazing how many events I go to, and I talk about this global superstar, and literally nobody will put their hands up, nobody knows who he is. The world has changed in terms of influencers, in terms of those people who shape the way we shop, the way we use town centres, the way we use high streets. Hands up. Who knows who this is? Even less hands going up. Okay, even less hands going up. So this is Ryan. Ryan does toy reviews on YouTube. I sort of know of Ryan because I've seen my own kids watching YouTube. My eldest daughter loves Thomas the Tank Engine, will watch Ryan play with Thomas the Tank Engine rather than playing with her own Thomas the Tank Engine toys or watching Thomas the Tank Engine on TV. What on earth is that about? It's crazy. Ryan's toy reviews, over 30 billion views on YouTube. He is 7 years old, over 30 billion views. In a world where there is not enough space for Toys R Us, here is your new influencer. Here is your new gateway to the world of toys. The world has changed when it comes to retail and high street. And frankly, most of us do not have the foggiest idea of what that change means or what comes next or what is happening. And it's not even just about your traditional high street as well. There are all sorts of things changing, which when you step back and look at them and look at the broader picture, you absolutely understand that we are going for a revolution. It might not be long until this is consigned to the past. We are already at a point in history where less than 50% of the transactions that take place on the high street now actually use physical cash. And it is declining quickly. We have moved to debit cards, credit cards, and we also know that things like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, if they are ever accepted amongst the younger generation, if they're ever trusted as a means of trade, will even take over debit cards and credit cards. This is a complete change. This is a huge transformation we're seeing. In terms of transportation, Nesta are now advising the towns and cities we work with that our members need to put in place urban airspace management plans. It's not enough for our members to be managing what happens at ground level. We need to know what's happening in the skies as well. Whether it's transportation, trade, consumer behavior when it comes to retail, it is all in flux. Even wayfinding. Google Maps has changed the game. One of the first things people do when they come into a high street which is completely unfamiliar to them, get out the smartphone and see where it is that's good to visit. And we are still behind the curve in terms of making sure our businesses are well represented on Google Maps. Oops, sorry. So just to finish off, I think it's clear to us that the world has changed. It's also clear that we just simply do not know how it has changed or what comes next. Data is now critical to absolutely everything we do. We need connected infrastructure. We need to know what is happening. We need partners like Connexin to make sure our town centres work well for the future. We've got a lot of catching up to do. Thank you very much, everyone.